Welcome to TerryWilson3.com, home of TW3. Are you ready to take your money, business, and life to the next level? You are worth more, and you're about to hear how and why. So buckle up and listen up as we journey to the next level. Please welcome your guys to reach your goals, the TW3 family.
Here's your host, Terry Wilson.
Episode 537, the 5 biggest marketing trends in 2022.
Marketing trends
in 2022. Wow, that camera, I should have
scored that up first.
I just should have framed you in before we hit record here.
I was thinking we've done 537 episodes and I have sabotaged 0 of them intentionally.
It's always me.
Well, I'm just thinking it seems like a waste of, an opportunity. There's 537 of these, and I have come in straight-laced every single time for the intro.
Yeah, why?
Like, I've never come in and just been like, ah! You know what I'm saying?
You've just ruined opportunities.
Yeah.
River, what have you been doing today?
Slept in late. Sorry, I mischurched.
All right. Off to a good start.
I'm such a great parent.
Built a boxing bag. Currently.
You missed church to build a boxing bag.
No, to sleep.
No, but
point of correction, no, to sleep.
The sleep opened up the door for me to set up the boxing thing.
So you got your boxing bag and you've got to have some sand.
Fortunately,
to weight it down.
I thought it would come with it, or I thought it would just be like a heavy base, but nah.
No, you have to make the base yourself heavy with the sand. Well, that's awesome. Well, guys, I wanted to talk before we get into the topic here. I sound like a broken record because all the content.
I hear those things are doing well.
They're doing real well.
For our audio listeners, you are holding up.
I'm holding up our TW3 tap card, which now doesn't look like that. This is the original one. I've redesigned the front for those watching on the live stream.
That was Gen 1.
Yeah, this was Gen 1. So I've got Gen 1, but the ones that are shipping out now, if you just get the standard tap card.
Oh, so much cleaner.
Look like that. That's not programmed or anything, but you can look at that. But it's a clean looking card. And and you can clean your teeth with it. There's all kinds of things you can do.
So many uses. Oh.
There's so many uses for it. But the application that these things will do and what it's opened up for us to do has just been amazing. And so much so, people that
you were telling me earlier this week some of the reactions you're getting from people, and I think what we figured out was there's always been there's a lot of tools, a lot of technology that we use, and our big thing is the idea of how to use these.
Yeah.
But when you mention a CRM, if you go back 10 years, you mention like an auto dialer, you mention all these things, people don't really wrap their head around what you're talking about.
Yeah, it means nothing to them.
Yeah. And so to have a physical item that you go, oh, well, let me see your phone. And then you tap it on their phone. They go, okay, I've added myself as a contact to you, or you can accept it. And now you're also on my list. So you'll start getting my news feed and things like that. And I can, let you know. And then you can tell them, let's say you're at a hairdresser. Be like, and if you have any clients, they need haircuts and you're tired of having them go on and book, just bring out your card and be like, hey, this takes you right to my calendar, book your next appointment. Yeah. And when there's that real world application where they go, oh,
it's just having the experience does a demo right in front of them.
Yeah.
It's like every time I meet someone, I'm able to demo our products.
Right. You're physically showing the value.
Yeah. In a non-salesy way.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't cold call him. I'm not trying to push anything.
Yeah.
And what I've been able to do is walk into restaurants. So I'm walking into some local restaurants around here that I'm sort of familiar with the owners and stuff. And I'm giving them away.
Right.
I'm just giving them. I said, hey, we're doing a promo this week, my company, on these tap cards because we think if you like what they do, you might want to use some of the applications for other parts of your business. And I says, what is it? And what I'm getting some right now. These are the PVC plastic kind.
Yeah.
But we've got the etching machine that's coming in. It's a laser etcher, and it will etch out wood and metal.
So you're getting metal ones?
I'm getting metal ones, and I'm getting wooden ones. And the trick to it, River, is I'll go online and sort of get their logo and design one for them with their logo, their information on there. And then when they tap it, it shows, like if it's a restaurant, their contact information, maybe even their menu.
Yeah.
Just a mock-up menu real quick.
Right.
And it just lights them up.
Or if they're doing catering, you can take them to like their catering page and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or where to book it. Was able to get in front of some insurance folks. And this
I
is
bet insurance guys love that.
Well, here's an application I've just tripped over. In insurance is back when I was doing insurance, you would go out and the first thing you would do is do what they call a needs analysis, because maybe they don't even need insurance. Maybe they're insured enough. You just don't know. So your first time there is just trying to figure out where they at, and what can they afford? Can they afford anything? Is it in their best fiduciary interest to do anything? And then you have this second meeting and you take an application. And so then you have to get all these questions asked, their age and their health and their financial well-being and yada, yada, yada. And that's on the application. And then the third thing is you take it back out and you present to them, okay, based on the way you fill this application out, here are the best products out there on the market for you. So this whole thing is like a three meeting process.
Yeah. But you've streamlined it.
So now you go and you tap their phone, it opens up a quoting page. So they fill it out immediately. And by filling out that request for a quote, it automatically populates your CRM so that now you're going to drip on them. And then it automatically, because I was using some of our RMPs, it sent out an immediate best quote and then you can just sit there and make a recommendation right then and there. So rather than having 3 different meetings, because you know how busy people are, how impossible it is. That's what made it so hard.
Yeah.
And then they can apply right there on their phone,
which is pretty cool.
It is so cool, and it's all with the tap of a card.
Yeah.
So now when I'm with people, it's just non-salesy way. How we can strike up a conversation, and then they get to talking, and you get to getting them to explain what they're frustrated with or what they like about their current situation, whatever it is you sell. Yeah. And I says, well, if you got 5 seconds, let me see if I can do any better. What do you mean? Tap. And then it's just right then and there. And then by them even doing anything, what they don't know, and it's not that you're being nefarious or sneaky or anything, by asking for information, you got them on your list.
Right.
So it's a way of bringing all of these online marketing techniques and tools in the real world.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
It is. Yeah. It's very cool.
Yeah. So this thing is flat out taking off, and I can't wait to get
upcoming marketing trends. Maybe not there yet, but
yeah, I don't think this is a marketing trend yet, but I told Timmy about this. We're doing a promo for him. He's going to be up in Washington, D.C. At a conference, and we're doing a thing with him where everybody that comes to his table, he's going to give one of these away.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we're doing a thing there. And I mean,
how's the programming going to work?
Well, what happens is you sign up for them. This is a $30 tap card, because the what you're paying for, I mean, the material here is not but $1. So what you're paying for is the programming and the time to do all that. So you go and you sign up, and then he'll have your card programmed for you and it'll be mailed out to you. And so it's pretty cool.
What's the storage on this?
None.
There's no storage?
Very little.
Very little.
There's just enough storage to put in binary code and some other coding. Where the storage is at is on some cloud. So what that's doing is triggering your phone to engage with either a website, a URL address,
right,
or a software, which is a URI address.
So it's just authorizing something.
Yeah.
It's telling the phone. I got you.
It's making it's command keys to your phone.
Yeah, it's a command prompt. I got you. That's really cool. I was going to make a joke. I was like, we sent people to the moon with less storage than on this card, but it doesn't work that way.
But it might be practically true. Did we go to the moon? Do you think?
That's not even.
Anyway.
You know what? George Bush sent us to the moon.
You are a historian, my friend. You are a historian.
And then Dick Cheney tried to get the oil on. No. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. It could be. Anyway, here are the top 5 marketing trends according to Jeff Buells, who is a online journalist that basically writes about various trends that's going on the online space and all of that. So here are what he says: the 5 biggest digital marketing trends making waves in 2022 and has been for months now is number 1, the rise of the machine. And what he's talking about specifically is chatbots and artificial intelligence, that the AI is taking over.
True.
So you find that to be a probably a true statement, huh?
I would. I feel like anytime you go to any web page that there is support needed, unless you're a large conglomerate company that can afford to hire someone like myself out, all of it is taken over by a chatbot. And what they do is they just have there's an actual job that I was learning about this week. There's a job now that's like growing pretty quickly, but they set up a library for you. Mm-hmm. They're setting up a library to meet all your questions, basically. Here's the top 50 questions we get with our analysts. And it's like, hey, how do I remove my card from subscription? How do I edit my homepage? Whatever the program is, they're typically... So they pay one guy to create a library, and then all he does is have that chatbot redirect them back to the library. So they fill out their chatbot, and they're like, hey, I'm having an issue, designing this page. Oh, well, here's a link, a quick link to our library that shows you how to do that, basically.
Yeah.
Essentially what it's done is it's gotten rid of the overhead of hiring, 4 or 5 people to man a shift.
For people like us that work from home and we're sort of solopreneurs and stuff, I think it's cool because I can't afford to hire out a 40-man staff to do, all of this stuff. But you could program a software, which is in essence what a lot of our software does with us auto responding and text marketing and stuff like that. Yeah. Voicemail drops and all that. It's a form of AI.
I would say though, there is a drawback to it in the fact that like bigger companies are doing it that could definitely afford to hire real people, but they don't. Like UPS, for example, that if you have any packages that you're trying to track or you're having any questions about a package, if you go to their website, they don't have like a real analyst or a real person that you can talk to.
Right.
It's all chatbot based.
Yeah.
Chatbot's freaking broken. Like it'll put you in a circle. So
you can get in a loop real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the trick to all of this technology is to somehow figure out, and this is why I tell people with the world that we're from, people will beat up on robo-dialers, for instance, and text blasting. And my argument is this: it's not that the technology is bad, wrong, or whatever. It's how it's used.
It's how it's used. It's the application of it.
It's the application of it. And if you're not a personable, if you just go out there and you have no relationship with the audience, and you're coming cold into, hey, buy this, and this, and you do it in such a hand-fisted way, it is going to come across spammy.
It's human nature to assign morality to like objects and positions that are annoying. And we do it for good reason, because we go, every interaction I've had with X pisses me off. Every time I have to deal with X. But more than likely, X was being used in a nefarious or just poor way.
Just a poor way.
And so, like you said, in the case of like RoboDial, there's actually effective ways to RoboDial. At least there used to. There's still some now.
I'll tell you one right now. I was doing this demo at the gym, talking to a friend of mine who's a pastor, and he said, so-and-so said...
I know what you're about to say. But okay, so before you even say it though, when we say robo-dialing, here's what people think. You called 10,000 people and you said, hey, buy my program or buy this, and then you spam call them when they had no interest. That's not what we're talking about. They are the same. It's the same system.
It's the same technology.
But go ahead, explain what you're talking about.
And I have used these robocall dialers.
Sure.
This one of our
a bulk call.
I have used it to do cold marketing.
Yeah.
But to that point, you have to use it in a way that actually gives value and does something for them rather than ask something for them. So for instance, if I'm going to robo-dial people in Spartanburg County, I'm not going to, and I used to do this, by the way. I'm not saying I used to be good. I back when I first got this technology, I was like, hey, health insurance for this, da-da-da-da.
Right.
And I would spam.
The same way that just about everybody first gets into
and I would spam the pee out of people. And I irritated a ton of people. But at the time, I did it so frequently, so often, to so many that the numbers overcame the negativity of it. It worked, but that that nowadays, I had to become more and more sophisticated as a marketer because as I was doing it, teaching other people to do it, other people started doing it. It became less and less effective. And it's now in 2022, what I was doing back in 2012. You cannot. I mean, it's
not from a number standpoint, not from in certain states, a
legal standpoint. You just can't do it. You just can't do it. But you can use these dialers in cold marketing if you're sophisticated on the audience you're targeting and the offer you're offering. So, as an example, I target 1,000 people in Spartanburg County. Who am I targeting? Maybe I'm targeting people that just moved into the county, so new movers. And maybe rather than asking anything from them, trying to sell them something and saying, welcome to Spartanburg County, just want to tell you that we're your neighbors over here at XYZ company and would like to give you $20 in restaurant tickets, just to saying thank you for moving into our community.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Welcome to the neighborhood, and hope we can serve you sometime in the future.
Yep.
Now that, it's still going to piss some people off. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But it's, for the most part, it's going to be way more effective than just some spammy, hey, get XYZ for XY amount, click here.
I like the way you do it with your card too now, because you have it set to in certain meetings at least.
Yeah, well, that's what I was getting to with the way I use this technology and what he's talking about, this AI stuff. I can tap that and we can, of course, share information. And then maybe an hour later, I have a text go out.
Yeah.
That says, it was great. And it'll give them their name because they filled something out. So the robot will say, hey, Jeff, it was great connecting with you. This is Terry and this is myself. If you ever got questions or need anything, text me here or call me.
Yep.
Which is actually going to the app, which handles all that.
Yep.
And then a day or two later, they get a voicemail on their system. Hey, this is Terry. I forgot to tell you, I'm doing fill in the blank next week and would love to invite you to it. It's an online webinar about what we talked about.
Yep. And that's a really cool and effective way to use it, because number one, there's already that point of contact.
Yeah.
There's that face-to-face connection. So it's not, you put a face to a name. And so now it's really just doing your secretary work for you.
I have automated all of my, admin stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's just, and robots cool. Another great, did you know, I don't know if you knew this, River, but I've got this software, and I've talked about it before on the show. I don't know if you've seen it, though, but it basically, you type in, what you want to talk about and a few points that you might want to make, and it writes the whole thing for you.
Oh. Which is, that is cool.
Have I've showed you that.
You've shown me.
It's a little scary.
I saw that a few months ago when you were showing some of the members how to use that on a Wednesday night.
So you saw it on the mastermind?
Yeah.
And you saw how, literally, any subject, you could say, hey, I want to talk about the greatest era in Braves baseball.
Yeah.
What's going to be the greatest era in Braves baseball. That's going to be my title. And my points are going to be the 3 all-star ace pitchers that we had in the 90s. That's going to be point 1. Chipper Jones in his reign, maybe mention some names. And I just type, those are my 3 or 4 points. That's my title. Go. And it writes this whole.
That's scary.
It is cool and scary where it's coming and how much automation is actually out there. I know for a lot of the web developers I talk to and software engineers.
Yeah.
It's kind of an ongoing joke that if you go to interview at a place for a software engineering job, they're going to ask you a lot of questions because they want to make sure you're knowledgeable. But realistically, all the guys that are coding, and they can attest for this, if we've got any listeners that are into coding or programming, there's websites out there that have pre-written code for you. So what you're looking for is, well, this is the automation or application I'd like to use this for. You go to slacker.com and then you find the code that's already been written for, or they have AI generated code now to where it's like, okay, you tell the program, like, this is what I need. This is this is the function I'm looking to perform. Yeah.
It's a WYSIWYG.
Yeah. It's cool, but it's scary. It's a little scary.
Yeah. It's very scary. But, here again, in the right application, in the right way, it's an effective, time-saving tool that allows people like our members who are solopreneurs mostly.
Yep.
Think about the time and the money you would have to spend on having someone to constantly produce content for your blog or your newsletter that's going out or your social media post. That's number one. Number two, think about this. Because you have this technology And because you have maybe some software like TW3 that does social media posting and you can schedule it out, you could literally go around to businesses and say, I'll manage all your social media for you and do your marketing.
Yeah.
And just set up a subscription for $100 a month. You'll get 3 posts a week on social media. And you could bring on as many clients as you want because it literally takes you seconds to produce that for them. And it's all automated.
Or the potential it has for college. I could use that.
Well,
Essays and,
I'm not teaching anybody how to cheat in college, but it has
a lot of potential.
If you want to see more about this software, you can look at the links in the notes. I've got we've actually got a deal where you can try them out for a free trial, and then if you decide to get it, 40% off.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to write a paper about the Ying Dynasty,
there you go. Just 2 or 3, and then you can skirt through college. And thank River for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Automation. It is the future.
Actually, all the commissions you get on that, by the way.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
See, you should be promoting this more than any of us.
That's right. I forgot it's connected. I'm about to make a TikTok. Hey, guys, you writing a paper today? I got a program for you.
Number 2 trend going on, the explosion of visual and video marketing, especially on programs and platforms like
TikTok.
And Facebook is getting into the game because of Reels and stuff like that. Yeah. And I hear Zuckerberg just came out and said that they are moving away from the type of algorithm that they used to use to, feed your feed, your news feed. And it's going to be less and less about people you're connected to. It's going to be less and less about friend connection and more about topic. And basically, they're going after the TikTok algorithm.
Oh, that's kind of... Well, what do I know? They're not paying me. I didn't build this company. I'm a moron. But in my head, I'm thinking, why? That's the antithesis of what you are. The only thing Facebook has over everything else is it's like, you can keep up with your friends that you were with in high school.
Well, I think you'll still be able to do that, but they're going to really lean into...
Right, but when I open my news feed, it's already that way where it's like I open my news feed and I don't see like posts from people I care about. Like realistically, I don't. I see posts from people that post too much and I get annoyed looking at their stuff, and for whatever reason, because I look at it so much, it keeps
the algorithm.
Or I'm seeing stuff of like, pages, like promotional pages and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But
I think TikTok has the best algorithm. The way they do it is, it's illegal.
Theirs is...
It's because it's illegal. And that's why it's open.
Because they're taking your information.
Right. I'll tell you this, though. TikTok is
I don't think it's illegal. It's just unethical.
No, it's definitely illegal.
It's scary good. This is how good it is. It's down to... I looked at somebody explaining this on YouTube, and if I find the channel, I'll send it to you so you could add it as a link.
Yeah.
But they were just going over how their algorithm actually works, and it is down to the milliseconds.
Yeah.
You spent 0.3 milliseconds looking at this TikTok, which had a skateboard, over this TikTok, which had a basketball. So on the next 5th cycle of what you're looking at, we're going to put more skateboards in there. To me, I'm just like, it's so cool to me.
They've got it. You really
The Chinese do everything better.
Well,
they do. They do.
I think you brought it up in one of the podcasts about everybody always complaining they see all of this stuff about, let's say, LeBron James. Well, it's because you keep clicking on it.
It's because you keep clicking on LeBron James posts and going, I'm tired of seeing LeBron.
It reminds me, there's a lot of people that I know and love and care about, but they're constantly saying, why am I always seeing this fill in the blank political?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, because that's what
keep engaging with it.
You engage. All they do is feed you what you engage with because they're trying to sell clicks because they got advertisers out there.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So, but the video thing is here to stay. And here's the good news. I talk to a lot of people, a lot of marketers, a lot of people like myself that have a product or service and are trying to sell it from home, and they just are not comfortable behind the camera, which who is. I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anybody that says, hey, put me in front of a camera.
Right here, baby.
Zoom in, baby.
See this face?
Yes. I've just never, but ever since we started doing this podcast and just incorporating video, exponential growth and totally different avenues and stuff. So to the extent you got to do it. But I will give you some encouragement. Going back to point number 1, there's AI software out there now that you can make videos without ever having to show your face.
Yeah.
You can make cartoons and explainer videos and all kinds of stuff and never be seen.
There's a guy on TikTok that used AI generated face and voice.
Yeah.
And he made multiple viral videos. He got a couple million people looking at these TikToks. The TikToks were not related to AI generation. I think he was making like humor content, or he was doing something, but it had nothing to do with the fact that it was AI generated. It was only after like his 5th video he revealed he wasn't a real person, and that was the one that 10 million people liked it, because they were like,
It blew their minds.
All these people were following him. All these people were checking out his page, and nobody realized, number one, that wasn't a real face, that wasn't a real voice. It was a woman. Like, everybody thought it was a man.
Oh, I know exactly. He had red hair. He was.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll have to. We'll have to link this.
Yeah, I'll go back and find it for you.
Find out who that is.
But
It was like it was so
crazy.
real. The angles. It was literally like you right there.
Yeah.
I can see you. You have a dimension.
Yeah.
But it's like she decoded it, and then she was like, "This is a real me."
And some of and she goes through and shows, the software that she used for each port. She was like, for the face, we started it with this, then we ran it through this. This was $0 a month. This was an actually expensive program. I had to pay for this. But just going down, bringing like,
this is how I did it.
Not only that, but the fact that 5 million people were watching this and going, "Oh, this is great content," not realizing this isn't a person. This person talking isn't a person.
It wasn't like a deep fake where you could kind of see their head is like weird, or their lips aren't
didn't
moving.
chatter, didn't have that digital chatter.
Right. It was to the point where I was like, is she just saying that, or is that an actual person?
It literally took her proving it wasn't real for people to be like, "Are you? Oh,
really?
Yeah, it was good.
Oh, wow.
It was scary good."
And still, I'm like, you've got to be joking. You've got to be joking. That's got to be like a real
But you got to think about this, with the advent of AI and how advanced it's getting in video for the purposes of business. I'm thinking of a business, Hollywood, entertainment. Why would you pay billions of dollars to actors when you can create the perfect actor through some of this? And it's because at the end of the day, I tell you one thing that in the last couple of years, we all should be able to agree on. We should all agree on. And that is these actors.
I disagree. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You probably would. These actors from Hollywood are nothing but empty suits that just read lines.
Yeah.
They have no moral authority to say anything about anything at any time.
Oh, true.
Or go on stage and slap somebody and be able to.
Well, I mean, they're just all they are is reading a line that they did not write, and they're paid to look good and quote unquote act good. And to that extent, technology is about to eat into their industry.
Well,
potentially for sure.
I think it was it was right after Paul Walker passed away from the car accident.
Yeah.
He only did like maybe 15 minutes of film in that movie. Well, he passed away. So everything you see, I think it was Fast Furious 6 or 7, everything you see in that is AI generated. It's all like the scene where they're crossing roads and "See You Again" is playing. That's fake. It's not actually him. It's
to play the devil's. Oh man, I'm loud.
Do what?
I just got louder in my headphones. It scared me a little bit. To play the devil's advocate a little bit, we are still a little bit a ways away from where, I think AI can just take over a role.
right.
The reason it works on TikTok is because it's already compressed. It's already on a small screen.
No, I get that. I'm not saying it's there yet.
Sure. And
But the trajectory.
And what you're saying, I agree with. The question, I guess, though, becomes like, why do we look up to actors? Why does that become like the voice of authority? Because we do it.
Well, honestly
do it. They look to.
I'm saying it will cease to be actors, and it will be these icons that are created.
Well, that I agree with.
You're giving life to it.
Well, we're already seeing people online are becoming the new famous people.
I think it's human nature to want to put people up on pedestals, whether it be through the arts, whether that manifests as acting or as playing music or even sports.
Yeah.
We all want to look to something that does something so moving. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes it's a physical feat that's moving. Sometimes it's an artistic feat. But I think it's human nature to look up and say, man, and just admire whatever it is you're drawn to.
For sure.
I guess it's the old crotchety white guy in me. And, I detest these people that extrapolate some sort of importance over in this area and try to put it over in this area.
You're taking the Ricky Gervais approach, which I think most normal people seem to agree with. And that's, they've extended
well, I go to church and I sit behind a guy that has studied theology to an extent that I feel comfortable. Okay, he at least knows. He might not always be right.
Sure.
But he's trying, and he's in this space. This is where I don't go to my pastor and say, hey, what do you think? How could I manifest this role better than I'm playing over here? I don't go to him asking for acting.
Sure.
And I don't I don't want actors giving me moral.
Yeah, telling you what should be important to you.
Yeah, that's
When
that,
the
and I
fact
know
is-
I'm weird that way. Maybe
No, I agree, because
it's just irritating.
The what gives them authority is, number one, they are good actors most of the time. They have a skill set that is incredibly good.
And it's hard to act, I'm sure.
Number two, they're typically attractive.
Yes.
You won the genetic lottery. Congrats. Number three, your uncle was probably friends with, Weinstein and got you in some. Realistically, though, look at these actors and look who they know.
I'm not going to touch that.
I will. I'm just saying. Most of them have a connection. I get what you're saying. I
A
understand
physical
the pressure.
connection in some instances.
No.
Ooh.
What were we talking about?
No, anyway, but it's just the
Walter White.
video marketing and everything has really going to explode. But those, because according to this journalist here, those who feel intimidated by acting and because there is what we're doing now is performing to a degree. Sure, not that it's insincere because this is who we are,
right?
But we are projecting our ideas because we know there's a camera, there's audio recording, so we got to, to the extent that people are intimidated by that. AI is going to fill in for that, but he's encouraging, if you're in business, you need to continue to do that because that's the trajectory of digital marketing.
And to piggyback off of it, even the art, let's say like you're good at the performance part, you have no problem speaking, you don't have a problem being in front of a camera, but let's say you're in a space where you need artwork, like you need a brand, they have programs now that will do the artwork for you.
Yes.
I saw the other day, they said Walter White eating an ice cream cone. Literally within 10 minutes, it had programmed an entire drawing, like in painting. And I'm just
images.
like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It really is. It breaks my mind a little bit. I'm like, that's so cool.
It's scary where technology is. So, number one, here's the top 5 trajectories of digital marketing. We've already talked about the rise of the machine, which is chatbots and AI that's doing blogging for us even and stuff, and is doing a ton of social media posting for me on AI. Number 2 is the explosion of visual and video marketing. And we're saying if you're intimidated by that, don't. Because you can use AI to point number 1. Point number 3, and this is where it gets scary. It's a little, we got to be careful because there's so many ethical lines I think that can be crossed here. And I don't trust big business nor big government to watch out for the little man's interest on this. Yeah. And that is a search without a single click. Search without a single click.
Explain.
Search has been adapting to mobile world. It has also been shifting in to accommodate a faster moving one. So Google made something truly beautiful when they implemented a feature snippets for seekers and providers alike. No longer do you have to sift through long articles or endless web pages for information. It is right there at the top of the search results.
Oh, I really like this.
Thank you, Google.
Yeah. Now, what used to be an occasional find with the right keywords has become commonplace. It has also expanded. Clickless searches is also the rage, and SparkToro reports that this is on the rise. That's a reporting agency that he's quoting. Mobile searches mobile searches make up a good chunk of the increase in use, as evidenced by the fact that 31% of the 3.3 billion estimated smartphone owners across the globe use voice search, a statistic that is believed to be directly correlated with the increasing number of zero-click searches.
So does zero-click searching just mean you're using your voice?
You're using your voice and other things that he's not, and he's going into the thing that we've been talking about, which is geo-targeting and things of that nature. Because
I know it uses your previous searches, because I get this all the time, at least when I'm working, is you're running into a problem. Like here's an example. I had one Friday.
Yeah.
I couldn't launch I couldn't launch Device Manager as an administrator for whatever reason. It was locked on this computer. It was weird. Okay. I was in an article looking for how to do this. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I could just run that through command prompt. And then as I went over to Google, I went, how do I, and then as soon as I put that, because of the article I was on, it said, how do I launch Device Manager in command prompt? I had never searched for this before, but it took from what I was already looking at going, this is probably what you're looking for. Now, I get it. That's kind of scary, yada, yada. That saved me so much time because I looked that up and they didn't even take me to an article. It literally had Google had found the article that had the answer and put it on
the top.
Yeah. And I was like,
it's anticipating what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Which, I get it can be scary.
It's scary, but it was helpful.
It's very helpful.
I would be lying if I didn't say it saved me like 30 seconds.
And I get the stank eye from people sometimes that come into our abode
Sure.
and see all these Google devices everywhere that's listening all the time, so that we can say, hey, the name, and then ask it something and it does. But
I want Zuckerberg to listen.
I was like, listen, if Joe Biden or Mark Zuckerberg or anybody else wants to know anything, just
Just hit me up.
just hit me up.
I'll tell you exactly what I need.
Yeah, if you can get it here before 5,
Even happier.
I'd be even happier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's but for the marketer out there, here's the thing I would tell you: create content that it goes without saying, but we have to say it because I see so many clients that are still designing pages to be on a desktop or laptop when 95% of your audience, your traffic is mobile. And then be thinking strategically about keywords. I've had to really think. Now, I still use keywords like CRM and voice drop and stuff like that, because the inside baseball people that know the industry, I want them to be able to find my stuff.
Yeah.
But they are not my client.
Right.
My client is that guy, that gal out there, that small business owner that needs more leads, needs to attract more business, how to attract more clients. They don't care what the tool is or what it's called to do this task.
No, they don't.
So I constantly having to think outside of myself, and if I put myself in a situation, and I tell you what's very helpful is I asked Gina, your mom, and other people, if you ran a business and you needed to do this, how would you say it? How would you go online and look for that?
Mm-hmm.
And then I just listen to how they interpret that.
Right.
And then try to start. You have to do that. Get outside of a thing. So search without a single click is on the rise. Number 4, fragmented and scattered customer journeys. And what he means by that is to the fast growth of smart mobile devices and assistants, the buyer's journey has become more fragmented, which I think is what you were just alluding to. These days, consumers are able to perform on-the-go purchases right from their mobile devices. Furthermore, due to the integration of mobile instant payments, mobile experiences has caused a boost in impulse shopping. Engaging customers with one site is getting very challenging. Here's what you can do. Use content engagement tools. And I have learned this, and I've sold tap cards not by trying to get people to go to my store, but actually embedding the thing right in the content. So embrace new content engagement tools to get customers to keep interacting with your site. So you'll see this a lot. I don't know on your mobile, on your phones if it does it, but like every time I open up Google, I get all of these, my Google browser, I get all these like stories and stuff that's trying to feed me.
Yeah.
And then I'll see something like, okay, one of the bad decisions I made was to go back and play Michael Jordan on why he regrets coming back to play. So I click on it. That's interesting. It's from basketballnetwork.net. And I get on there, and then I'm reading a little bit. And then about halfway down, I'm going to get bored. And all of a sudden, it's putting all these other articles right there in the middle of this article because it knows everybody has ADD.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, you have to constantly, and then I'll say, well, I wanted to get back to, it's just the way.
Yeah. What is it? I think they did a study and it's like 13 seconds.
Yeah.
It's about 13 seconds is what somebody will spend on an article or on average. Not always. You might find something you're interested in. But when you're just playing on your phone, you go to Facebook, go to Instagram. I think it might have even been less than that. I feel like I might be shooting a little high.
The attention span of this new generation is 3 seconds.
It might have been 3 seconds.
TikTok. Yeah. Because if it's not interesting to you, you're like, I don't care. That's why like for TikToks, you got to be so good at the start because you got 3 seconds, or even YouTube videos. You got 3 seconds to prove your point. And if you don't do it like on ads, skip.
So you're thinking I should like flash or do something?
Do something crazy.
That's exactly what he was saying.
On ads, the thing that doesn't say skip ad, it has to be so interesting. Like, why?
He said 3 seconds, not 3 inches.
Oof.
That's funny.
That was really funny, actually. I won't leave you hanging. That was good. That was really good.
That's pretty solid.
Well, no, it was pretty. Never mind. Anyway, no, but yeah, it's short attention spans. Fragmented, and like you were saying, everything's so easy to use your mobile phone for too. I don't know how this correlates into it, but I'm just thinking like, I don't remember the last time I've gone out to eat at like a Chipotle or like a new wave restaurant. These newer, and I've used a card.
Yeah.
Apple Pay.
Apple Pay is everything.
You know, and it's like everything's just so
Everything is on that mobile phone now.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what makes, I hate to beat, but that's what makes these tap cards so darn effective, is because
on your phone.
I'm not giving people a card that they're going to throw away or lose anyway.
Right.
I'm putting it right on their phone, and then I've got an automated system that's following up, you know.
And there's a little bit of like a pressure there too. Because here's the thing. I've had plenty of people give me their business card, and I know exactly what's going to happen with it. I'm not going to use it.
You're not
It's going to sit in my wallet for a little bit because I'm going to feel bad if I throw it away immediately. But then like I'm going to clean it in a month, and I'm going to be like, oh, I don't need that anymore.
Right.
But if I go, let me see your phone, I tap your phone. Well, the first thing it pulls up is the survey. It's like, yeah, I can just get your contact information that way. And then they're like, well, all right. They kind of got to put it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also so cool that they're probably like a little bit more willing to anyway.
Well,
like,
and it depends on the context, because there's some of these that you just put information on their phone and you don't ask for anything.
oh, I got you.
It just depends on how you
say,
program.
let me see your phone.
Yeah.
Think.
Yeah. It just, because I've got like 5 of these cards, you know.
I have access to your Apple Pay now.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Every time you buy something, you're giving me $2 out of it. So.
It's a lie. That was a joke.
And it was just
The worst way to give someone a business card is whenever I used to work at a place in other side of town, is they would go to all the cars in the parking lots and put their business card right on the door handle.
I have a pet peeve with that.
She was still walking around the parking lot, and I put it in the middle. I had a lighter, and I burnt half the card, and I put it in the middle. I wanted her to know, don't do that. I hate it, and I'm never going to check out your business now, even if I need you.
Here's my issue with doing the window seals, because that is a thing. I've had those before where they put it on your,
flyers and stuff.
It's like, don't touch my car.
You're forcing me to litter.
Yeah.
Because number one, I don't want it in my car. There are people like me. I don't like my car messy. I don't want trash in there.
Yeah,
and so, but now I feel bad because I'm not the type of person that's just going to throw a piece of paper out in the parking lot.
Exactly.
So now it's like, you've put the burden on me to go find a trash can for your damn pamphlet that I never
I'm gonna
asked
feel
for.
bad either way.
Yeah.
And don't touch my car.
I hate that.
It's annoying.
I hate those.
You gotta love them.
So that's a tip. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Here's a tip. Don't do that.
Don't do that, especially in around Bowling Springs. Number 5, marketing as an experience, not advertising. And I think this is huge. And I think I want to just stop right here a second, and I talk to myself. For the people like me, my generation and up, or it doesn't really matter what generation you are, if you'll get this point, you're going to make a ton of money. Marketing as an experience, not as an advertisement. I mean, that's what those who are blowing up on TikTok, why are they blowing up? They're entertaining.
Yep.
It's an experience. There's something, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be funny.
Yeah.
You just have to be engaging. You have to be entertaining. There's got to be something there. Either they learned something that they had, oh, wow, or they're hysterical, or there's got to be something. And to the extent you can make your marketing an experience. And that's what, here again, what makes these so effective is because I'm, right there, I can program any experience I want. I can put on this card.
Yeah.
And, I've got 100 of these I've got to actually do for a church, and they're going to give it out to their members. And all they're calling it is encouragement cards.
Mm.
And so when they tap on it, it's just a word of encouragement to encourage anybody to come in contact with, hey, I know life is hard right now. I know things are da-da-da. Just want to give you a word of encouragement and give them like 5 bullet points. Here's what God says about you because of this, and here's what you can do. And, just encouraging them. Not to preach at them, not to try to convert them, not to try to beat them up over anything.
Yeah.
Not to try to argue over any social issue. Just to encourage them.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And that's going to give them an experience. And I guarantee you, people are starved to be around people that are encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
And that church is going to see.
Yeah. I feel like I'm seeing more and more today people that not necessarily because of you, but it's just weird that I saw you doing this kind of in 2009 with your idea of the podcast and your idea of providing value regardless if anything was purchased or not,
Right.
Any transaction, because you're building the audience.
Right.
You always talked about that, especially back in the day, and people, they get it now, but it's like, you got to build your list. You got to build your audience.
Yeah.
And that's just become a little bit more streamlined now with TikTok. I see a lot of guys that give, maybe it's just my feed. It is just my feed because of what I look at. But
obviously through the algorithm.
Right.
Yeah.
It's my fault. But they give you like business advice, or they're giving you like, maybe because of my age and what I look at now, here's how you apply for these certain positions in these types of fields. here's how you learn how to code these certain programs. Here's the hiccups you got to learn when using these type of. And so all these guys, all they're doing, and it's very similar to sort of what you're doing, for free, they go on TikTok and they show you all these problems. They're showing you how to fix it. But they're going, if you want a full course, you want a book, here's $20. You'll be on my list. You can join my Discord server. We do Wednesday night meetings where I can go over any problems you might be having in your course that you're taking in college, all kinds of stuff. And I'm just looking at that and I'm going, you were onto something before it was really popular. Like, because now everybody can kind of do it.
Yeah. Well, I came from a human nature standpoint rather than a technology standpoint. I think a lot of people are just they're enamored by the technology. Yeah. And so they're just doing stuff because they technically can do it. Yeah. And from the podcast standpoint, I knew I'm nobody. I'm not a name. So why would you listen to me? I better give you a reason to listen to me. Otherwise, I'm going nowhere. Yeah. And this would be a great example. You've never owned a business. You've worked for business, right? Right?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Okay, right. I'm making a point though. I'm making a point.
No, I'm just kidding. I sold drugs on the street.
I was kidding.
But my point is, have you ever heard of the guy named Gary Vee?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, his whole shtick is to talk to business owners.
Yeah. Right.
And get people the hustle culture. He's all about the hustle culture, right? But he's so entertaining people that are not even in the hustle culture.
Exactly.
That's my point. Yeah. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to know the name Gary Vee.
Right.
Right. And, and so it's working. I think he's one of the best at it. I mean, and I'm not saying you have to go out necessarily and curse and.
No, yeah. He helped me in my 2016 business, the fidget spinner.
Oh, yeah.
I would buy so much bulk and then it would buy $2 a piece, sell for $9. Nobody bought it, but I did get 3.
There you go.
He helped me lose a lot of money.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is I'm a business owner. Hey, sometimes you fail. Sometimes you win.
Gary Vee's the reason I didn't have a car in 2016. I took that $2,000. I put them all into fidget spinners because I thought this was my way, baby. Turns out everybody had a fidget spinner.
My kids left me. My wife left me. But I sold 3 fidget spinners
for $9.
Well, dude, he will videotape himself going up to a yard sale and talking.
Yeah.
He is constant.
People have accused you of this, and it's kind of true, but more than you. Gary Vee likes to hear himself talk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do too.
That man sniffs his own farts is really what I'm trying to say here.
I don't sniff my own.
Granted,
flatulence.
A lot of times he's got really good ideas. Like a lot of times really solid. Yeah, it's very solid business advice. But
how old are you? How old are you? 25. Dude, when I was 25, I had so much time.
I'm 5 years old.
Dude, you have so much time. Playground. You're 60. You have so much time. You could get started now.
Where's your beanie?
You need a beanie.
I also left a 65 cuss words in each sentence.
Yeah, you got to drop at least 15 F-bombs every 30 seconds.
Rolling it back in just a little bit, though. You were talking about, what was the last one?
It is marketing as an experience, not as an advertisement.
Typically, because I've had a few friends that have like started podcasts and stuff, and it's really cool to see, like, because everybody kind of wants to do that now, and it's, there's a lot of room to grow there. You could really start something doing that.
Yeah.
But it seems like people forget the most important step, which is like, how are you going to get people to listen to you? Why would they listen to you?
That's exactly right.
Everybody, because I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations with friends and then I go, oh, this would make a really good podcast. But then I look at it, like an hour later, I'm like, we were just talking about things that interested us. It wasn't focused. It wasn't centralized. And when it comes to how you're going to advertise it, you can't just talk about anything and then expect people to listen.
Everything has to have a point. It's just like today, we had to go look for content that we wanted to talk about that would be relevant to what we do, but entertaining enough to keep us engaged.
Yeah.
And that's the
and here's the other thing that you do that you have to do, especially if it's like a podcast format. Yeah. This is going to be about an hour and a half, 15 minutes.
Typically.
If you didn't know any of our faces, you didn't know who we were, why would you listen to us? I wouldn't listen to us if I did.
Right.
The way you scapegoat that, clip the important parts, clip the parts that were funny. That's the part you market. That's what you put on your TikTok. That's what you put on your Instagram. You don't just throw up videos with no prerequisite, no primer,
Yeah, it has to be.
No appetizer.
Well, a little highlight. I try to get like 3 or 4 excerpts out of each podcast and just put it up there as, hey, this is what went on in 5:30, what are we on, 5:37.
Right.
And then maybe they'll come back. The video side side only does so much. It's the audio side that's really always,
does well.
It does well, and we do so okay on the video side. But that's what podcasting is for anyway, is audio.
Sure.
But what the video side does, going back to the point that he was talking about, where I think it's point number 3, where he says, or point number 2, which is the explosion of visual and video marketing. That's where you're going to find your cold audiences, people that don't know anything about you, people that wouldn't even think to look for you.
Yeah.
They're going to trip over something. And if you can tweak their interest, maybe you can get them into a longer format piece of content. And I think people that listen to the long format, those are the people that understand who we are, what we do, what we're about, and more importantly, our attitude toward things.
Right.
And then they've made a conscious decision, hey, I can do business with those people because they see the world the same way I do.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, they might not even agree with us, but they share a lot of the same attitudes toward things.
Right.
And so that's what the beautiful thing about podcasting is. It allows you to, because we talked about this the other night. We were talking about Rush. You know, and how controversial he was, and the pros and the cons and everything like this. But at the end of the day, we were talking about Limbaugh, you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not the band.
Not the band.
I was like, what did Rush do?
No. We were just talking about how
I thought you were talking about the Canadian band.
you can take anyone, and through the way you frame the content, you can turn them into anything you want.
Yeah.
I mean, preachers do it all day long on the Bible.
Yeah.
They call it exegeting a passage of scripture, which is basically a fancy way of saying taking something out of context. So what you do in your long format, those who listen to you for 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, you're not going to convince those people that you are something other than what they believe you to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what, you say, well, I can take this little quote and he said this, and that makes him... It might convince people that don't listen.
Yeah.
But those who are long, and that's true across the I'm not just talking about this person and trying to defend or whatever. I'm just saying people that listen to this show.
Yeah.
Once they start listening, they might see something in context, out of context.
There's a lot in this show you could take out of context.
Oh, you could say all kinds of stuff. I mean, because we're an hour a week, 537 shows.
Yeah.
I guarantee you could string something together, make me look really one way or the other. But it might be true too.
But when it came to the start of your podcast and how you were growing it, the first step you did was go, well, what would I need?
Yeah.
It was like, because you figured out something that you're like, well, this is what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Like I was searching this out, leads you to believe other people would probably search this out.
Sure. Yeah.
And so, but we're talking from the standpoint of, and I'm not saying we're huge, because you can look at our subscribers and look at our iTunes downloads, but we have a built-in audience. Like,
right.
We have people coming back regularly to listen. Yeah. That in itself is a little bit of a feat.
Yeah.
Because you don't get there overnight.
No, you don't. And the biggest thing this show took as a hit was about 3 or 4 years into it. I pivoted really hard from it being strictly about, because it used to be called Dollars and Cents, and cents spelled the SENSE.
Which is really cool.
A little play on words.
Good idea.
Because I was talking about financial planning, financial products and all that. Because at the time I was selling insurance and retirement planning and all of that stuff. And so that was all the content revolved around. Well, as the business side and developing new business grew and grew, and the coaching side of teaching other people, well, that's TW3. And so it had to pivot from that. And so we lost some audience there the following years because I sort of rebranded the show.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, what I should have done was stop that podcast or continue it and start another
separate podcast.
A separate podcast, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I'm a Chevrolet car dealer one day, the next day I'm selling muffins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the thing was, and that's kind of what I was trying to say before, you kept it focused.
Yeah.
This is what people came to see. This is what we were talking about. And in that case, you went, okay, we kept it focused on muffins, kept it focused on Chevrolet. And then all of a sudden I showed up with blueberry muffins, and all my Chevrolet people went, WTF, this wasn't what I tuned in for.
That's not what I signed up for.
Right. And so I feel like it's a little bit of a rookie mistake that people have, and I get it.
I've made every rookie mistake there could be.
But you're not being focused.
Right.
You're just, these are all the things that interest you. And because you are passionate about those things, you would assume that that's going to transcend into good content or good, material for other people. You're providing value. But that's not always the case. If it's not focused and you're scatterbrained, like it's going to come across unfocused, scatterbrained. You got to have an audience is going to leave.
Your content has definitely got to be purpose driven.
Yeah.
And it's got to be of value. And I don't think I'm that funny. Okay. I don't think I'm
kind of mid.
Well, what I'm saying is,
I disagree.
I don't think people, there's a lot more funny people than me. I don't think I can compete on that level.
Sure.
I can compete.
Maybe with Bill Burr, but for the average Joe, I think you could definitely compete.
I
think if you did some stage work.
Yeah. I really do think you could be a comedian.
Oh, really?
Honest to God.
Oh, well. But
I don't think you would bomb on Kill Tony. I think you would. Oh, I think you would do a good job on Kill Tony.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. It's awesome. But I do think I can compete in the business world on.
What are we talking about?
I can't talk anymore. He's touched me. Not in that way. Not in that way.
Too late. We already made the face. You can't see River's face, but he was looking at me like.
No, but I didn't want. It does need to be entertaining, engaging, but I wanted to be informative.
Yeah.
And so to your point, yeah, I was struggling along in life with all of these problems, and as I solved those problems, I was like, and I would talk about it, and I found it to be like you said. People's like, well, I've had that same issue. How do you get leads that were exclusively for you and not being sold to a ton of other people? How can you scale your agency when you've got other agents that could write for other people instead of just you? So all of these newfound business problems I was having, I would just come back and say, well, here's what I'm doing. And then I found there weren't too many products on the market that solved those problems. So I had to create them.
Yeah.
And as I created them for myself, I had a product.
But all that took was you being focused about, well, I have an issue, let me solve it.
Yeah, yeah. But I want to encourage my audience, and especially if you're a TW3 member, take note, because this Jeff Bullis, I want to thank him for this content. It was over on, and I'll link to his blog because I want to give him credit. But he's basically a journalist, a business journalist, and he's done a lot of great study here, and he's got a bunch of, I'm looking on the site here of all the various polls and things that he's done, and they've looked at.
Provided his citations and sources.
He's provided his citations and sources. Thank you, Reagan. So it's not just he's pulling it out of the air, but he knows about stuff. So the 5 biggest digital marketing trends, again, if you didn't catch it all at one time, is the rise of the machine, which is AI. And I'll have links to an AI software that you really, if you've not tried out, you need to try it out. We give you a free trial and then 40% off if you want to keep it, which is really cool. And that's how Reagan makes his money, by the way. Do you know that?
Hey, everybody.
So he really wants you to try that out. The explosion of visual and video marketing, TikTok and that stuff, I'm telling you, it's here to stay. To the extent, Zuckerberg is chasing it. And you got to think, how big is Facebook? They are sort of like,
they got 6 billion users.
They're king dingling of social media, and they're chasing after.
They have 6 billion users.
Yeah.
How many people are on the
7
Earth?
So they have 65% of the Earth on
That's
Facebook.
more than.
I thought there was only 7 billion people on Earth.
It's 8 billion now. But from the study I read, they had around 68% of the Earth on Facebook.
Well, I thought that's why the CIA and the Chinese released COVID, so we could.
Right. Careful.
I read that on Facebook. It's got to be true.
You know, Joe Byron's not real.
The explosion of visual and video marketing. Number 3, search without a single click. Number 4, fragmented, scattered customer journeys, which means you need to populate your content with other stuff. For those with ADD, if they jump off of it, they're going to at least stay in the same pool that you've got. And 5, and finally, marketing as an experience and not just advertising. If you'll do those things, I really think you will be better served for it. You'll be happier for it, and you'll see better results for it. Again, if you've not checked out the TW3 Tap Card, check it out. It is so cool, and you can do everything that the journalist that we were quoting. You can do. You can create an experience. You can connect with them in a meaningful way. You can auto respond with them. Did you know that we've got technology now that it will send an actual audio file via text?
That's pretty cool.
Our system now, you can program it to where it texts an audio file. And so you can not text a link to an audio file, but the actual audio file.
Yeah,
That's got to be a shorter file. But you could text them, hey, this is Terry. We just met. Just want to say thank you for taking the time.
That's pretty cool.
And so every time I tap a card, that's going to be going to there.
Can you do that thing on iOS where you can send the emojis, but they talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you do that? Send somebody a unicorn and be like, hey, this is Reagan.
Sorry about your grandma.
Oh, no.
What did he say?
He said, sorry about your grandma.
Just doing like a unicorn emoji.
Like the iOS. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
You
Hate to hear about that horrible apartment building fire, but just want to say, hey, here's my number. Text me back.
You know.
That would be funny. Come on.
Come on. It is very funny. It is funny. Anyway, go to terrywilson3.com/tapcard if you want to get one of these. They're only $30. terrywilson3.com/tapcard, and you can add whatever features you want. There's upcharges for those additional features, but if you just want to put your content on someone else's phone with a tap, you can do that at terrywilson3.com/tapcard. Till next time, we will see you later. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to our show today. If you have any questions or would like to speak with us about your goals, then please call or text us at 864-507-9696. Reach out to us online at terrywilson3.com.